Hello, children. Today we will discuss chapter 2 from the supplementary, that is, bringing up Kari. Kari is an elephant, so this story deals about this elephant and a boy of 9 years old who is taking care of this elephant. So let us enter into the story. Kari, the elephant, was 5 months old when he was given to me to take care of. I was 9 years old and I could reach his back if I stood on tiptoe. He seemed to remain that high for nearly 2 years. We grew together. That is probably why I never found out just how tall he was. He lived in a pavilion. Pavilion means a shelter under a thatched roof. Thatched means covered, so it's a covered roof which rested on thick tree stumps so that it would not fall in when Kari bumped against the poles as he moves about. Every day I used to take him to the river in the morning for his bath. He would lie down on the sandbank as I rubbed him with the clean sand of the river for an hour. After that, he would lie in the water for a long time. On coming out, his skin would be shining like ebony. Ebony means timber. And he would squeal with pleasure. What does squealing means? It is a long, high-pitched cry or noise made by an elephant. So he would squeal with pleasure as I rubbed water down his back. Then I would take him by the ear because that is the easiest way to lead an elephant and leave him on the edge of the jungle. While I went into the forest to get some luscious twigs, luscious meaning having a pleasing, a rich and sweet taste, so such type of twigs. For his dinner, one has to have a very sharp hatchet to cut down these sticks. Hatchet meaning a small axe. So this boy uses a small axe. It takes half an hour to sharpen the hatchet because if a twig is mutilated, an elephant will not touch it. Mutilated means if it seems to cause some damage. It was not an easy job to get twigs and saplings for Kari. I had to climb all kinds of trees to get the most delicate and tender twigs. As he was very fond of the young branches of the banyan tree, which grows like a cathedral of leaves and branches, I was gathering some one spring day in March, when I suddenly heard Kari calling to me in the distance. As he was still very young, the call was more like that of a baby than that of an elephant. I thought somebody was hurting him, so I came down from the tree and ran very fast to the edge of the forest where I had left him. But he was not there. I looked all over, but I could not find him. When I went near the edge of the water, I saw a black something struggling above its surface. Then it rose higher, and it was Kari's trunk. I thought he was drowning. I was helpless because I could not jump into the water and save the 400 pound of him. He was much higher than I. But I saw his back rise above the water, and the moment he caught my eye, he began to trumpet and struggle up to the shore. Then, still trumpeting, he pushed me into the water, and as I fell into the stream, I saw a boy lying flat on the bottom of the river. He had not altogether touched bottom, but was somewhat afloat. I came to the surface of the water to take my breath, and there stood Kari. He had planted his feet firmly in the sandbank and stretched out his trunk like a hand waiting for mine. Seeing us drift by in the current, Kari, who was usually slow and ponderous, here ponderous means slow and clumsy, suddenly darted down like a hawk and came halfway into the water, where I saw him stretch out his trunk again. I raised up my hand to catch it, but my hand slipped and I found myself going under the water again. Luckily enough, this time I found that the water was not very deep as I sank to the bottom of the river and doubled my feet under me and then suddenly kicked the riverbed and shot upward like an arrow. And I did all of that in spite of the fact that I was holding a drowning boy with my hand. As my body rose above the water, I felt a lasso in the sense a rope like feel, around my neck. This frightened me. I thought some water animal was going to swallow me. But then I heard Kari squealing, and I knew it was a trunk about my neck. He pulled us both ashore. Despite being a lifesaver, Kari was also like a baby. He had to be trained to be good, and if you did not tell him when he was naughty, he was up to more mischief than ever. For instance, one day somebody gave him some bananas to eat, and very soon he developed a great love for ripe bananas. We used to keep large plates of fruits on the table near the window in the dining room. One day, all the bananas on that table disappeared, and my family blamed the servants. A few days later, the fruits disappeared again. This time, the blame was put on me, and I knew I had not done it. It made me very angry with my parents and the servants, for I was sure that had I had not taken all the fruit. The next time the fruits disappeared, I found a banana all smashed up in Kari's pavilion. This surprised me very much, for I had never seen fruits there. As you all know, he would always liked on twigs. Next day, while I was sitting in the dining room, wondering whether I should take some fruits from the table without my parents' permission, a long black thing, very much like a snake, suddenly came through the window and disappeared with all the bananas. I was very much frightened because I had never seen snakes eat bananas, and I thought it must be a terrible snake that would sneak in and take fruits. I crept out of the room and, with great fear in my heart, ran out of the house, feeling sure that the snake would come back into the house, eat all the fruits, and kill all of us. As I went out, I saw Kari's bag disappearing in the direction of the pavilion, and I was so frightened that I wanted his company to me up. I ran after him into the pavilion, and I found him there eating bananas. I stood still in astonishment. Astonishment means a great surprise. The bananas were lying strewn all around him. He stretched out his trunk and reached for one far away from where he was standing. That instant, the trunk looked like a black snake, and I realized that Kari was the thief. I went to him, pulled him out by the ear, and joyously showed my parents that it was Kari and not I that had eaten all the fruits these many weeks. Then I scolded him, for elephants understand words as well as children. He knew that we were all angry with him, even the servants. His pride was so injured that he never stole another thing from the dining room. Next time I see you stealing fruit, you will be whipped. You'd better get that right. And from then on, if anybody gave him any fruit, he always squealed as if to thank them. An elephant is willing to be punished for having done wrong. But if you punish him without any reason, he will remember it and pay you back in your own coin. An elephant must be taught when to sit, when to walk, when to go fast, and when to go slow. You teach him these things as you teach a child. If you say that and pull him by the ear, he will gradually learn to sit down. Similarly, if you say Mali and pull his trunk forward, he will gradually learn that it is the signal to walk. Kari learned Mali after 3 lessons, but it took him 3 weeks to learn that he was no good at sitting down. And do you know why an elephant should be taught to sit down? Because he grows taller and taller than you who take care of him, so that when he is 2 or 3 years old, you can only reach his back with the ladder. It is therefore better to teach him to sit down by saying that, so that you can climb upon his back for who would want to carry a ladder around all the time. The most difficult thing to teach an elephant is the master call. He generally takes 5 years to learn it properly. The master call is a strange hissing, howling sound, as if a snake and a tiger were fighting each other, and you have to make that kind of noise in his ear. And do you know what you expect an elephant to do when you give him the master call? If you are lost in the jungle and there is no way out, everything is black except the stars above, you dare not stay very long anywhere. The only thing to do then is to give the master call, and at once the elephant pulls down the tree in front of him with his trunk. This frightens all the animals away. As the tree comes crashing down, monkeys wake from their sleep and run from branch to branch. You can see them in the moonlight, and you can almost see the stags. Stags means a male deer running in all directions below. You can hear the growl of the tiger in the distance because even he is frightened of an angry elephant. Then the elephant pulls down the next tree and the next and the next, and soon you will find that he was made a road right through the jungle straight to your house. So this all about the lesson bringing up Kari.